Okay, it's Friday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. For those of you on the East Coast, I think you're starting to think about the weekend just after 3 o'clock here. For those on the West Coast, maybe you're just about to head out to lunch. But before you do, I hope you enjoy this next edition of our live stream speaker interviews. This is a series that we're doing in advance of Voice Summit. That's voicesummit.ai. And it's a chance for us to get to know our speakers, to find out their backgrounds, where they're coming from, and a little bit about what they're going to share at Voice Summit. And it's been a really enjoyable experience for me thus far. And today is definitely no exception. I am speaking with one of the dynamic duos of voice, Scot and Susan Westwater. Hello, how you doing?
Good, how are you today?
Doing great. You're the co-founders of Pragmatic Digital. Tell us a little bit about how Pragmatic came to be and what you all are up to.
Sure. You want to start? Or
no, go ahead.
I can start. So we came up with the name Pragmatic because our platform is all about things being useful and usable. I come from a content strategy and digital strategy background. And so we have worked in basically a way of helping brands go multi-channel and come up with cohesive messages and important things that are customer first. And with the platform of Pragmatic, we have focused on voice and how does voice work into that? Because it isn't just about incredible voice experiences in their own right, but making sure that they make sense from a brand to support them and that they're good experiences so that they are useful and usable and valuable to the target audiences.
And I come from a digital strategy and user experience background. So I got voice from Gary Vaynerchuk back in the fall of 2017. And when someone like Gary speaks, you go, it's probably something wise to pay attention to. So I started doing my own research, and I saw a lot of parallels between what had happened in the mobile revolution and obviously what is happening now. And being that we are used to talking to senior level clients, CMOs, people like that, and helping them understand what mobile was or what the web was even back at the end of the 90s, it was really a natural progression for us to jump into voice and really try to help our clients understand what the opportunity is and how they can take advantage of it.
Oh, that's great. Well, it's funny. It's a nascent industry on one hand, and it's been around a long time on the other, yep. Right? What do you think of, there are several folks that have been in this space for dozens of years or decades. What do you think of this new era that we're in, this kind of what people are calling the voice first era? And how does it differ from what we've seen in the past?
In my perspective, it is going to be so pervasive. And the funny thing is, I tell a lot of people this, we're going to look back in 3 to 5 years to this time and go, wow, that happened really quick. And so I think people vastly underestimate how quickly this is all going to transpire and how pervasive it's going to be within society. And, certainly we've already seen it with televisions and microwaves and coffee makers and things like that. But we're still thinking of it, in the more traditional app experience and really just extending that to these platforms. Mm-hmm. It's going to be really interesting once we start seeing some of the new ways of voice communication happening via these platforms. And people like Brian Romilly obviously has some really interesting thoughts about where this could take us over the next, say, decade. But yeah, it's such a wide open field, and there's so many applications of how we can use natural language to interact with computers for the betterment of society, quite frankly.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that when it comes to the term voice first from a user experience perspective, it's raised a couple eyebrows because every time a new technology has come through, be it websites, be it mobile, be it tablet, there's been this requirement that you need to rethink all of your strategies, all of your messaging. Why are you doing this? And a lot of times it was, customer first, mobile first, content first. And so when we say voice first, it raises an eyebrow because they're like, wait a minute, are you saying voice is more important than the customer? And I think the important thing is helping people understand, no, we're talking about a first touch, that we're talking about modality more than we are talking about priority, because the customer or the user is always going to have to be the priority. And so it's important to make sure that that distinction's out there to help people feel comfortable. There's a lot we know from the change from website to mobile that I'm not saying can be extrapolated perfectly, but there are some things that we can be smarter. So as we look at this rapid adoption, we can do it better and then move things even further to where, I mean, today, if you think about when we made an HTML button blink in the 90s and where we live today is a completely different world, I can see that being even faster.
Yeah.
I miss those blinking HTML buttons.
Right? They were an accomplishment at the time.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you what, it is interesting. If you look at, if you go and Google search images for, 1996 websites or even 99 or 2000 websites, it is interesting what you see. And the same with mobile apps, look at the first mobile apps for major brands, and it's laughable, what people put out. And I think, where we are in voice is we're actually beyond that place already. I think because mobile sort of laid the groundwork from a user experience standpoint. You had a small screen. You really had to think about UX, right? But it's interesting to see the difference between certain brands that are starting to embrace heavily and those holding back. What would you say to those that are holding back?
There's only going to be one chance to get this right up front. And if you don't start now, you're going to kind of miss the boat. So the idea being that with voice search and all these other things, your business is going to see a dramatic shift in consumer behavior over the next, say, 3 years. And if you don't start now and start learning how people are interacting with these, what value you can provide, you're going to kind of be left behind.
Yeah, absolutely. History is repeating itself from what we have seen before. And, we learned, and if what's that? Fool me once, shame on me, and shame on myself, and etc. I feel that way right now as well. We have been given kind of, and this is a little emotional, but a gift of knowing that we can be a lot smarter about the adoptions of when we went through these changes in tech before and these interfaces. We didn't know as much as we are informed now. So this is a huge opportunity. So don't miss that opportunity. Yep. Otherwise, it's going to cost you a lot more in the future to play catch up and to even, get to the table.
I hear you. Well, I just pulled up the schedule here. It's showing on the screen. You all are involved in two different sessions. You've got this great session, this sort of like almost hands-on. Now what roadmap? I think where you're going to take people through what it means to build a voice first roadmap. Tell us a little bit more about your session. That's going to be on Tuesday, July 23rd from 1 to 1:45 p.m. right when our breakout starts. It's going to be a hot ticket. Tell us a little bit more about the session.
Yeah, a lot of the clients or prospects we've been talking to lately are aware of voice and they know that it's something they need to do, but literally they go, well, now what? What do we actually need to do to either migrate some of our content or at least get started in the voice platform? So really, it's going to kind of be a mix of here's some stats and here's the business case for why this is a really smart investment, whether it's in 2019 or early 2020. And then we're actually going to go into a workshop and actually show people how they can start to suss out what their audience's needs from voice is and how it might differ from, say, their website or from their customer support call center. And so really, it's going to be kind of a twofold, and we're going to try to pack as much value into that as absolutely possible.
Yeah, and I think it's important to also highlight, we do talk about customer first, but the most important thing to know is how do you marry customer needs with your business objectives? I would love to say that, we're all not-for-profits and we altruistically are doing all of these things, but we're not. Ultimately, someone has to get paid, and even for not-for-profits. So this, and what we hope to help people walk away with is an idea of how do I do that so that what I'm creating is useful, usable, but also helping me achieve my business goals, so that everyone is basically able to come away with serving their needs, and it actually is going to be better experiences.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a great session for anybody that wants to understand this space. Scott and Susan are as close as you can get to experts in this space. Susan, you're also going to be sitting on a panel the next day, understanding the different phases of conversational design. What a great topic. And I think it dovetails nicely with the session the day before.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hoping to bring my expertise from a content strategy standpoint. A lot of what we're hearing when we're dealing with our clients is, okay, so what's the content? How do I do this? I have all these tomes of podcasts. I have all these tomes of website and what was, is called high value content. what do I do with that? Do I have this whole new channel to support? And from a content strategy perspective, there are lots of ways that I wouldn't say necessarily it's reduce, reuse, recycle, but there are ways that you can use that content as a starting point to starting to use really great voice experiences and to inform that, so that you're not reinventing the wheel and you can focus on, again, being useful and usable, not just keep calm, make more content.
I could not have said it better myself. Well, I tell you what, we are really looking forward to having you both in Newark, New Jersey with us at Voice Summit. And I understand Pragmatic is going to have a little area where people can come meet you as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll be, I think there's going to be a table or something set up where people can swing by and meet us. And we're planning on being there the entire time. So look for the guy with the big beard and whatever, and come by and say hello. We'd love to just chat with people and understand, kind of where you're at, and even just give you an ideas of how you can actually get your start. We're big proponents of education. So client education, industry education. So it's kind of regardless if you work with us or not, we really just want to set people on the path to success, because it really shouldn't just be the big brands that are able to take advantage of this. It really should be anyone that's interested and willing to dive in and really, do it. So
I'll tell you what, I mean, that's our goal as an event, is we want to bring people together for this knowledge share. And, if you are thinking about this space, the end of July in Newark, New Jersey is going to be basically the epicenter of voice first knowledge from around the world. We have speakers coming from more than 25 countries. We'll have more than 5,000 people on hand. And now is the time to get into this market. VoiceSummit.ai is the space, the place to go and get your registration. Tickets start very affordably. And if you're a student out there, we have scholarships as well, and we want to support you and give you access to the conference. So please apply for a scholarship. Scott and Susan, great to chat with you on a Friday afternoon. And I really look forward to seeing you in just over a month in Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah, we can't wait.
It's going to be wonderful.
Awesome. Well, have a great weekend, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks,
Thank
Pete.
you.
Cheers.